the new book that is now on the Tupten Children website and that will soon be on Kindle, is Pearl of Wisdom, Prayers and Practices, Book 3, which follows upon Book 1 and Book 2. Book 1 is the blue one, Book 2 is the red one, this one's the green one. Okay, and the beautiful cover designed by Venerable Jigme. So I'm going to read a little bit from the introduction to the book. It contains mostly action tantra or kriya tantra self-generation practices. So these are practices where after receiving a proper empowerment or subsequent permission, then and proper teaching, so one knows how to do this, well, then one is able to dissolve into emptiness and imagine one's own wisdom appearing as the deity. Okay? So it's not that your old body transforms into the deity. Who wants this old body? Okay? So we want a body of light, so it's a body that is made from wisdom, and that wisdom arises from meditating on emptiness. So the introduction to the book says, well, it recaps, Pearl of Wisdom 1 is designed for those who have been introduced to the Buddha's teachings and are interested in practicing them. These people feel ready to take refuge in the three jewels and want to establish a daily meditation practice. So that's why things really start with Book 1 and regular things people can do to get themselves going, establishing a regular daily meditation practice. And that goes very well with the book, Guided Buddhist Meditations, which explains how to set up an altar, how to do your daily practice, and that has it used to be a CD, but now it's a link online where you can get the guided meditations in audio form where they've been led. So that's Book 1. Pearl of Wisdom Book 2 is for Dharma students who have studied the stages of the path and are attracted to bodhicitta, the aspiration to attain full awakening in order to benefit all sentient beings most effectively. They feel ready to generate aspiring bodhicitta and to prepare to take the bodhisattva vow. Okay, so that's up a notch. And that book, Book 2, contains the precepts for generating aspiring bodhicitta as well as the engaging bodhicitta precepts. And Book 2 also contains some short front generation action tantra practices like the medicine Buddha or white Tara, green Tara, Manjushri, these practices where you don't need an empowerment or a subsequent permission to be able to take them because you're imagining the deity in front of you. Okay. Pearl of Wisdom Book 3 is a collection of action tantra practice texts or sadhanas by various Buddhist sages, and it is for those who wish to engage in deity yoga methods such as self-generation and who have received the appropriate tantric empowerment, subsequent permission, and the requisite set of precepts. Okay, so this is for people who have really gone into practice deeper. They definitely consider themselves Buddhists. They've taken the refuge and the 5 lay precepts. They may have also taken the bodhisattva precepts. If they haven't taken the bodhisattva precepts, at the time they take the Kriya Tantra empowerment or subsequent permission, at that time they take them. And then there's also some Kriya Tantra precepts that people take. So guidance from a qualified teacher is essential to help you understand how to meditate when doing deity yoga, what qualities this practice is designed to develop, and how to think while doing the recitations and visualizations. Instruction from a teacher is especially helpful to understand visualization techniques and to develop serenity and insight in the context of deity yoga. Receiving explanations on these teachings, on these practices, also clarifies the meaning of unfamiliar terms and concepts. So it's very important to do, before doing the self-generation, that you've taken the appropriate empowerment, and which includes taking the different sets of precepts that are required, and or the subsequent permission, okay, and that you receive teachings, okay? So just picking this book up and reading it and saying that sounds interesting and trying to do the visualizations, no, please do not do that. That's not suitable and it could be harmful, okay? So it requires the introduction through the ceremonies and, again, receiving teachings, not just taking the empowerment and then sitting down and not understanding anything and reading it and thinking you're going to understand it, okay? So in front generation practice, which is in book 2, we visualize the Buddhist deity, a Buddha or a Bodhisattva such as Chenrezig, Tara, or Manjushri in the space in front of us. After taking refuge, we accumulate merit, purify negativities, and so on. Then, while reciting the deity's mantra, we imagine light flowing from the deity into us, filling us with the wisdom and compassion of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and freeing us from obstacles on the path. This practice concludes with the deity melting into light and dissolving into us, whereby we feel the inspiration of the deity and then dedicate the merit for all beings. Okay, so that's the front generation practice. Deities in front. We create a whole relationship with this particular Buddha or Bodhisattva, yeah, and whose body is made of light. And then at the end, they come and dissolve into us, and we dedicate the merit. Okay, but the self-generation goes further. So self-generation practices differ from the front generation practices in that after meditating on the emptiness of our ordinary body, mind, and self, we think that our wisdom realizing emptiness manifests in the form of the deity. Then we meditate on the clear appearance of ourselves as the deity and hold the divine identity or divine dignity of being the deity. Meditating in this way gives us a sense of our Buddha potential as well as confidence in the Buddha we can become in the future once we fulfill the collections of merit and wisdom that this entails. Okay? So meditating on ourselves as the deity when done properly, which means there's the meditation on emptiness first, and that's key. You don't just visualize yourself as the deity without meditating on emptiness, without generating bodhicitta, okay? So meditating on ourselves as the deity inspires us to act with wisdom, compassion, and skill of an awakened being, okay? So for example, if somebody criticizes us, instead of becoming angry and lashing out at them in retaliation, we contemplate how would the deity respond if criticized. Okay, so you've imagined being Manjushri or Tara, and then you think, somebody criticizes you, but you're the deity, and well, how would Manjushri and Tara would react? They wouldn't get all ticked out and offended and go cry or lash out at somebody else for, offending them or whatever, okay? So it makes us think, oh, okay, if I didn't have my usual afflictions and my usual habits of activating those afflictions, then how would I respond in this situation? So it opens our mind and makes us think of other ways of responding to situations that don't involve afflictions. So it's very good for our practice, okay? At first, when we do this, we go, what are other ways I could respond? Because we have forgotten all the teachings that we've heard on mind training. If we remembered and practiced those teachings on mind training, then when we generate ourselves as the deity, we would know how the deity thought. So this self-generation throws us back to really studying the Lamrim and the thought training teachings so that we understand how to transform our mind and how a Buddha or Bodhisattva would think and emotionally respond to such a situation. Okay, so this helps us to approach the situation from a virtuous mental state instead of following our habitual emotions based on self-grasping ignorance and enacting our habitual dysfunctional responses based on self-centeredness. We'll remember the law of karma and its effects. We'll see the person who criticizes us as a suffering sentient being and generate compassion for them. The benefits of contemplating in this way are great. Self-generation practices also include skillful meditation techniques for generating and then uniting serenity and insight. Okay, so that's the first part of the introduction to Volume 3. There's a little bit more of the introduction, and then there's all the practices that follow. So please make use of this as you're qualified to do, and enjoy the practices and really use them to benefit yourself and to benefit all other living beings.